Hey, good morning everybody. Wanted to come out today and harvest some of my Swiss chard. It's getting kind of big here, and I've got different rows of it in different areas. You know, when people kind of get on the health kick, you hear a lot about spinach and kale, but you don't see a whole lot about Swiss chard, even though it has, you know, all the same similar nutrients as these other two popular greens. Also, it's got a milder flavor than kale, so if kale is not something that you're into, you can always try out some Swiss chard. Comes in sort of all different colors, at least the stems. There's red and yellow and white, and doesn't really do anything for the flavor, the color. They all kind of taste the same. And sometimes you'll see in the store rainbow chard, and that's not a particular variety of Swiss chard. It's just all the different stem colors that have been gathered together and bundled into one bunch that they sell. But I just wanted to kind of go over real quick on what you can do when you're harvesting it. It will continue to grow back, and so you can harvest this throughout the summer into the fall. Sometimes, depending on where you live, you can even harvest this into the winter. It's a pretty hardy plant. So when you're cutting the leaves, grab my trusty scissors here. When you're cutting the leaves, you want to trim it back and cut the bigger outside leaves first. And you'll notice when you're cutting it out, there'll be more leaves coming up more towards the center. And you want to take the bigger leaves and leave a few leaves on there for the plant, because that way it will give it more energy to keep producing. You can, I mean, when I was a kid, we used to just take a knife and just come right down the line and slice them all off right down, you know, pretty close to the ground, and they would come back. But it takes longer for the plant to kind of revive again after you cut them all down like that. So if you leave yourself some leaves, I mean, I think there's a rule that you should only take like 20 or 30% of the leaves, but it really depends on your plant, because some of these only have a few leaves on them. So if you're only taking 20 or 30%, you might only be taking one leaf. So really kind of, you make the decision on how you want to cut it. Like this one here that I just cut, you know, I've left 3 leaves here on the outside to grow a little bit more, and then I've got a new one coming up in the center, and I'll leave that. So let me get to harvesting, and then we'll take it from there. So I got myself some Swiss chard today, and you're probably wondering, what the heck am I gonna do with this amount of Swiss chard? Well, like spinach and kale, it does cook down a lot, so you need a lot of volume to get a decent amount if you're cooking it. Now, you know, what all can you do with Swiss chard?
Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew.
Well, there's a lot of things that you can do with it. You can eat it fresh, you know, some of the smaller leaves in salads. You can eat the stems too. They have a nice crunchy bite to them. And they have kind of a sweeter, mild flavor. Much more mild than kale, like I was saying. But saute it, boil it, braise it, put it in salads, have it with fish. There's all kinds of stuff you can do with it. So, you know, give it a try, whether you're growing it this year. And actually, it's not too late to grow it either. Yeah, I almost threw that back in there after taking a bite. I won't do that. But you could probably even start some from seed now because it will grow into the fall and you can get a couple harvests of it. But it's good stuff. It's one of my favorite leafy green vegetables. When I was a kid, we would grow it in our garden. My mom would just boil it in some water or steam it, and then we would just have it with lemon juice and salt, and I would eat piles of the stuff. You can also saute it up with some garlic, add some dill or thyme to it. I mean, really the possibilities are endless on what you can do with this stuff. So if you're not a big fan of kale, or you're just kind of sick of the spinach, try yourself some Swiss chard. It's a nice alternative that has a lot of potential for stuff you can do with it. So thanks for stopping by, check out the video, and subscribe to our channel. And we hope to see you again soon. Have a great day. Namaste. I need to go wash and cook this. Oh, one other thing. When you do harvest your Swiss chard, you want to take it in and wash it, and then dry it off. And then it will keep probably a good 4 or 5 days in the fridge, like in your crisper drawer or whatever. Or the beer drawer is what I like to call it. You bet.